Welcome back to part 5 of my 10-gallon vivarium build. Finally, we are done the hard part and we can move on to the fun stuff, which is putting some life into this vivarium. So the first thing you might notice is there is now light on here. And what I'm using is this magnifuge light by Innovative Marine. And this is actually meant to be a light for a nanotank refugium for growing macroalgae. But I had one here, and I used it on my first vivarium, and I liked it so much, I went and bought another one. And you can see here, it's 6500K color spectrum, and it really draws very little energy, 6 1-watt LEDs, but it seems to be very bright. And so far the plants are growing, so I think this is a good choice for this size tank. So I'll be going with this. So before we can even start putting plants in there, obviously they need something to grow in. And you cannot just throw, potting soil in here or something like that and expect this to work. You need to do it the right way. And I've done my research, and I'm going to listen to the experts on this one. So basically what you want to do is have like a multi-layer approach. And it shows you right here. So I bought all these supplies at, well, not all of them, but these things from Josh's Frogs. It's an online store that sells stuff like this. But first you need to start off with a false bottom, and that's this stuff here. I don't really know what this is. I don't know if it's like sintered glass or something like that. But anyway, you could use pebbles or something like that, but they'd be really heavy. This stuff is like super lightweight. It's very porous, so this is a good choice. The water will flow right through there, and it won't add a lot of weight to the vivarium. So if you ever need to move it, it's not going to be a problem. Because a bag of rocks this size would be pretty heavy. So on top of the false bottom, you're going to want to put a substrate barrier. And I've got a piece of screen mesh right here. This is like just your standard screen you would use in your window in your house. It's non-metallic kind. Not sure what it's made out of, nylon or something. I don't know. But anyway, you're going to want to put this on top of the substrate barrier. Put the substrate barrier on top of the false bottom. And that's going to keep anything from the upper layers, hopefully, from falling down into your drainage layer. Then you're going to want to put your ABG mix, which is basically this stuff right here. And what that is, it's called the Atlanta Botanical Gardens mix. I'm going to just trust the experts on this one. They say it's the perfect mix of everything you need to grow plants and support the types of animals that are going to be living in a vivarium. So I bought a bag of that. I need to mix this up. It's just kind of all separated right now, but that'll be going in next. And then on top of that, you'll want a layer of sphagnum moss. And I've got some in a bucket here. This came in a compressed brick. I broke some off, put it in here, and I'm soaking it in RO water. I'd expand it out. So that'll be going on top of the ABG. And then finally, some leaf litter, which is basically just some leaves. I know a lot of the forums, they say magnolia leaves or oak leaves. I have a magnolia tree outside, so I took some leaves from that. I'll be putting that on top. And once we get all that situated down here, we'll be able to put the plants in. So I'm going to get started on this now. First, I'm going to be adding in the drainage layer, or the false bottom. I know some people say take this out, you can rinse it. It can be quite dusty. I found it not really to be necessary when I did the last one. So I'm just going to open this up and pour it in there and just be careful not to breathe this stuff in if dust does come out. But, use it at your own discretion. I was okay with it when I did it the last time. And then just smooth it out. And you're going to want this to be nice and level. No little dips or anything in it. because you don't want any of the soil to be lower than any of the other parts. So let's make this nice and level, and we'll be ready for the substrate barrier. All right, so there it is. I've got it all nice and level. I've got the screen on top of there. Next step is to mix up my ABG mix and put that in here. And I'm going to play around with this a little bit. I'm going to put it in there. Maybe I'll put like a little hill over here, a mound. I'm not quite sure. I need to put that in there. I'm going to arrange my plants in there. Figure out what I think looks best. And then I'll show you the result once I'm all done with that. Alright, so this is what I've come up with so far. Sorry I didn't film the whole thing. It was taking a long time and the camera was kind of in the way and my hands were all full of mud, so I couldn't really play around with it too much. But I was just rearranging the plants, trying to figure out which ones fit where. And I don't know a whole lot about these plants. I only know what a few of them are. So I'm really hoping that I've got them in the right places. I'm not quite sure. I guess we'll just see how they start to grow in. But yeah, this is kind of what I was envisioning. So then over here, I got a couple of rocks here, kind of made like a little facade. And it's a raised area. And I got the taller plant back there. It kind of slopes down into here. And I know these will be spreading out all over the ground. There's a little fern up front. Then I got these two plants, and then if you could see back there, I can't see with the reflection. This root kind of comes down, and there's like a little cave under there, which I think will be a pretty good little hiding spot for somebody. And then up here, there's like a little ledge behind this pink plant, and once that grows in, somebody could probably hide back there as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. And so now I just need to put some sphagnum moss down. I'm going to throw some leaf litter, and we'll see how that looks. Alright, so I've got the sphagnum moss and some leaf litter in there now. And that'll be some places for all the little cleanup crew, the springtails and the isopods, which I'll be adding later to live in there, and they'll be eating that stuff. And the frogs will also, I may use that to hide in. It'll help retain the moisture and everything, so. But I think it's looking pretty good. Last, I'm just going to add some live moss that I found growing on the side of my house, and I know some users are going to say, hey, don't add anything from outside, but I don't care. I'm doing it. I put some in this tank, and it is growing pretty good. So I'm going to add some to the other tank as well. So that's the stuff down front. It's growing back in there. Up there. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So in the other tank as well. So I'll show you what that looks like once I get it in there. And I'd say this is coming together pretty good. So I got this pretty much how I want it, and hopefully everything takes off. But obviously I'm going to need to really give this a good soaking, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and then we'll get a closer look at how everything's doing. And I just have this spray bottle that's full of RO water, and I'm going to give this a real good soaking. Then, so I'm going to have to put this phone down. I'll come back in a second. All right, so it's gotten a nice thorough soaking, and that should be good for the plants to start taking root, and hopefully they'll start to take off in their new home. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. not quite done yet. I still want to add my cleanup crew, which consists of springtails, which are these little guys in here. And I've also got two types of isopods, which I'm going to need to sift through here and carefully take some out and put them in here. These guys, I got to figure out how to get them out of there. There's a couple ways. Not quite the expert yet. But I think I'm just going to... There's like charcoal chips in here. So you can see these guys in there. I'll probably just take like a spoonful. You can see them running around in there. And you don't need very many to start a new population. So I need to get some of them out of there into here and let them take off. And what they do is they help with any of the biodegradables, and they'll eat any mold or fungus that might grow in here and any waste that the frogs might produce. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get them in there, and then we'll take a final look. So I just took a spoonful of those charcoal bits, and they were covered in springtails. So that should be enough to start the population in here. And I'm going to go ahead and find some of the isopods, which are really just pill bugs, roly-polies. I don't know, got a lot of different names. But so I just went ahead and put 7 of each. So I've got purple isopods, dwarf purple and dwarf white. And they're bigger than a springtail, so I could see what I was getting. So I just dug through the container and found some. I just received those containers the other day, and I'm going to also put some into the other vivarium. I'm not quite sure how many isopods I have in there. So I just grabbed 7 for now. I'll probably dig back through there, get some more. But I also want to just keep that culture going as well, so I can grow more of these guys if I ever need them in the future. So I basically just need to throw some food in here. And it seems like they seem to like Reefroids, which I've been feeding my springtails, and I threw some in here. It seems like they ate it right up. So that's good. I got plenty of that stuff. So there we have it. This one is pretty much done, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Now the choice is just what am I going to put in here? And I'm still debating, but if you want to find out, you're going to have to hit that subscribe button and check back later, because as soon as I know, you will know. Trust me. So this is the first one I made. I'm going to just slide these together. And here we have it. So I'm going to be getting 2 different species of dart frogs. I'm going to have one in here and one in there. From what I understand, it's not advisable to mix them, so that's why I've got 2 separate containers here. And then, yeah, we'll take it from there. But I think this looks really good. Really happy with how it turned out. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.